This is a seminar on detecting child abuse for Sunday school workers at Crossroads Free Methodist Church. The biblical context for the seminar is found from James 1, verses 26 through 27. This is what Jesus says, or God says, is true religion. If anyone considers himself religious and yet does not keep a tight rein on his tongue, he deceives himself, and his religion is worthless. Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. The reason, though, I think we can add the word abused to this scripture verse is because in our society the abused are voiceless and are exploited, much like orphans and widows were in the biblical context. So I would start verse 27 where it says religion, and start it and re-emphasize. It should read this way: religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this: to look after orphans, widows, and the abused in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. In our day, we need to become the voice of the abused. And this particular seminar will emphasize abuse of children. Legal definition for the abused child: any child who is the victim of sexual activity, is endangered, or exhibits evidence of any injury or death inflicted other than by accidental means, or at variance with the history given of it, or because of acts or omissions of his parents, guardians, or custodian, suffers physical or mental injury that harms or threatens a child's health or welfare. There is a second category that goes with abused children, and that is neglected children. The neglected child is any child who is abandoned by his parents, guardian, or custodian, lacks adequate parental care because of the faults of the parents, or whose parents neglect or refuse to provide him with proper or necessary sustenance, education, medical or surgical care, or any other care made necessary by his mental condition. Using those two definitions, we can come up with 4 categories of abuse. The first is sexual abuse. The second is physical abuse. The third is emotional or mental abuse. And the fourth is neglect. From here on out, the Sunday school workers at Crossroads Free Methodist Church have made presentations on those 4 topics. This is the poster created to explain the symptoms of sexual abuse. The poster was created by Howard and Kay Peruta. The following is their presentation.
Okay, our particular comment was sexual abuse. Sexual abuse, we felt, was calling us to be part of the solution, one child at a time. And it really is one of America's most shocking secrets, because it's hidden in plain sight. Is this a child of innocence, or is this a child of abuse? We don't know. Here is a child that is in foster care, had to be placed there because of some sexual abuse going on. Pray. Some children feel, what's the use? What's the use? How sad. So as people together, we need to make an impact against this. Hebrews 3:13 says, but encourage one another daily, as long as it is called today, so that none of you may be hardened by sin's deceitfulness. Don't let yourselves get hardened to what's going on in the world today. And here's a woman dressed very nicely, but she's saying, I told you to stop bothering me, and now you're really going to get it. We have too many people that look just like us, look fine, in fact, even genteel, and yet they don't do it. We need to get children to tell us, to be open, so that they will believe that we truly want what's best for them. A lot of times, if you see a child that only draws in black, that can be a sign of disturbance of some sort. So that's the type of child that you would want to watch and maybe take time to talk to when you get a chance to find out what's going on. I myself, when I've been teaching Sunday school, have found that. Pray today for someone who doesn't even know how to ask for prayer. People that are being sexually abused don't know how to ask for prayer. This girl, sex, and what else is going on? What other indignities is she suffering? This, stay alert and be persistent in your prayers for all believers everywhere. Ephesians 6:18. Stay alert. Be aware. Look at children that you're teaching and be aware of what's going on. Try and get to develop a relationship with the parents if you can. So God, please help us to be alert. And here's a bus driver. He's in a position to notice things, but will he tell? Sometimes people who are in a position to notice things take the easy way out and don't tell. And if you notice here, there's only one child in color. The rest are kind of in grays and darker colors. God is called to reach out and love someone else's child. It's a call to arms to pray for the lost and hurting. So we need to remember that. This girl's only 13 years old. And what else? Here's a gymnast. She does everything her coach wants her to, but is it right? And is she doing other things? If you notice a girl dressing or acting provocatively, or changes in her personality, bruises on her body, etc., tell someone outside her family. It's your responsibility. And since she's already doing this, we found even more anatomy to love, and is she lost unless we do it or say something.